So let's wrap up the proxy pattern. The general problems and forces here is that the client wants to use an object that for whatever reason cannot be directly accessed. Typically this is because some code must be run that is not the concern of the client nor the implementer of the object or the service itself. This could be things like security. Often we don't want the business object implementers to know anything about security. We want them to just run without having to worry about it. We don't want the client to enforce security either. So we need someone to implement security in between the client and the server itself. It could be remote communication, it could be the setup of transactional context, it could be logging, it could be any of the other things that you can imagine that is not the concern of the client nor the concern of the implementer of the objects. Our solution is to have the real subject implement an interface that I've called subject and have a proxy, here illustrated with a remote proxy, that implements that same interface. The client will work on the interface and not necessarily know whether they're working on any proxy or the real subject. The proxy's responsibility is to overcome whatever hurdle, security, remote communication, whatever it is, and then forward the request to the real subject after it has performed whatever service it's performing. In Java, we typically implement the top-level interface as an interface construct as opposed to an abstract class, for instance. And there are some other implementing options that you have in Java that is outside the scope of this course. You could use a dynamic proxy, you could use AspectJ, all very powerful for introducing proxies in between the client and the real object.